Hi, welcome to Roy's Game Table. Today it's Captain America Justice versus Expert Rhino with the Legion of Hydra modular set. So pull up a chair and let's see what happens. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this setup here, Captain America Justice versus Expert Rhino with Legions of Hydra modular set, is because about a week or so ago, the designers released two new modes for this game, for Marvel Champions. One of them is Rookie Mode, and if you want to learn more about that, I've got a link to that news article down in the description below, so you can click that link and read more about Rookie Mode. And the other is Heroic Mode Level X. Now, what the X means is you put a number in the place. So let's say you want to play Heroic Mode Level 1. Well, you set the game up for Expert, in this case Expert Rhino. But the difference is when you get to the encounter phase where you draw cards for that, you draw one additional encounter card. So for a total of 2 encounter cards during that phase of the game. And each player draws an additional card during that encounter part of the villain phase. And so if you want to do Heroic Mode Level 2, then you would draw 2 additional cards during the encounter phase for a total of 3 cards for each player. And the reason why they did this is because there are some players that wanted an increase in difficulty in the game. And so the designers released this Heroic Mode Level X to try to increase the difficulty, give them something they could play to make the game a little bit more challenging and harder. My goal here is to play this game on Expert and see how that goes with Captain America Justice versus Expert Rhino with the Legions of Hydra modular set. And then I'm going to do a game later, I don't know when, but later, I'm going to do a game with the same exact setup, but Heroic Mode Level 1. So the only difference will be that I draw 2 encounter cards each villain phase instead of just 1. But I'm going to have these 2 games so that players can hopefully not only enjoy the games, I hope they're fun to watch, but not only watch the games and enjoy them, but they can have a comparison between Expert and Heroic Mode Level 1 in that case. And they can see for themselves how that works and whether or not it increases difficulty. And hopefully that's what will happen, and that is my goal for these 2 videos that are coming up, this one and the next one. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got the breaking and taking side scheme out like it's supposed to be because I'm on Rhino side 2 playing Expert. He brings this in, it has the appropriate amount of threat. I've shuffled the encounter deck. I've shuffled Captain America's deck and drawn his starting card, the 6-card hand that I can mulligan. And looking over the cards, I don't need 2 under surveillance in my hand because I've only got 1 main scheme, and under surveillance attaches to the main scheme, so I'm only going to need 1 in play. Even though I can put Hydra in with a reduced cost, he's still a little too expensive. I'm going to discard him, and I think I'll keep everything else, draw up, just back up to 6. Okay, and then I'll go fetch my shield. All right, I got my shield in my hand, and I moved everything over so that you could see all the cards I have in my hand. I like to lay them out. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, I do want to get under surveillance in to give me some breathing room on the break-in scheme. So I'm going to put that in over here using strength. And then I'm going to go ahead and put Agent 13 into play, reducing her cost by 1 and spending these 2 resources to be able to do that. And when she comes in, she takes 2 threat off of a scheme. So it'll be that one. And she comes in with 3 health. Go ahead and have her thwart for 2 to get rid of the breaking and taking scheme. And then I'll use Heroic Strike to put in Captain America's shield. Flip and deal 2 damage to Rhino. He'll go from 15 to 13. Already, and draw 5 cards. Okay. Put one threat on the main scheme. He'll attack for 3. I'll just have Captain America defend. So he'll attack for 3. 4. -3. So 4 minus 3 is 1. Captain America will drop to 10. Retaliate damage. We'll put him down to 12. Put Rhino down to 12. And then the encounter card drawn will be Rhino heals 4 damage. And he is able to do that to go back up to 15 from 12, back up to 15. So all that damage I did doesn't make any difference. And Captain America's exhausted, but of course I can always ready him if I need to. Okay. So back to my turn. I'm going to put in Steve's apartment with followed because there's no side scheme out right now. I'll put in interrogation room with under surveillance. I'm going to hold on to energy hopefully for next turn and just have Agent 13. That threat's not too bad. I'm going to have her hit Rhino for 1. No. Yes. Down to 14. Because it takes 11 threat to lose the game now, so I don't want to waste a thwart. When there's only 1 there, might as well just do the damage. So, ready him up and her up. Draw back up to 5. Okay. He'll put a threat on the main scheme. Rhino will attack and Agent 13 will jump in front of this for 3. He'll attack for 3, 4, 5. So that'll knock her out of the game. And then the encounter card. Attached to Rhino, it's charge. Okay, so a lot of damage coming next turn if I can't do something about it. We'll see what happens. Back to me. And I can always stun him with a heroic strike. So I'm going to put in Super Soldier Serum with Fearless Determination and Heroic Intuition just to give me a resource. And then I'm going to spend Exhausted to get a resource and spend energy. And it gives me a physical resource, so I'm going to deal 6 damage to Rhino, bringing him from 14 down to 8. Six damage to him, and because I used a physical resource, it will stun him, so he won't do the charge yet. And then I'll go ahead and have Captain America thwart to remove this threat off the scheme, and that'll be his turn. Okay, draw 5 cards. Okay. Put 1 threat on the scheme. He's stunned, so he won't get to attack unless this encounter card lets him do it. Nope, he schemes. For 1, so it's advanced. So 1, 2 on the main scheme, bringing it up to 3. And it's my turn. I'm going to play for Justice, spending Exhausting Super Soldier Serum for 1, First Aid for 2, and removing the 3 threat off this scheme. And I know I played a mental resource. I could have taken 4 threat off with it, but there was only 3 there, obviously. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Concussive Blow with the Power of Justice and Nick Fury. And so because of Power of Justice, I will have the Fist resource to be able to do 3 damage. So I'm going to confuse Rhino and deal 3 damage to him, dropping him to 5. And then I'll have Captain America hit for 2, dropping him down to 3. And then I'm going to flip so that next turn I can use Steve's apartment to heal back up to 11, get another card, and have 7 cards in my hand. So let's ready up. I shouldn't lose. He has to have 11 threat for me to lose, and he's going to be confused. So even if he draws in advance, I should be good. All right, draw back up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, 1 threat on the main scheme at the beginning of the villain phase. He's confused, so he doesn't get the scheme. And the encounter card is gained up, which he's an alter ego form, so he will surge, and that's good. I'm glad that came out then. Draw another card, and he's an alter ego, so it's going to surge. It was Stampede. Armor Rhino suit attached to Rhino. So what that means is when I do 5 damage, I'll just kind of put it down here because I can't hit Rhino. Actually, I'll put it over here so that I'll remember that I can't hit Rhino until I put 5 damage on Armored Rhino suit. Okay. So back to me, I will exhaust Steve's apartment to draw a card and to heal 1. So he'll go back up to 11. I'm going to exhaust Super Soldier Serum for 1 and use a shield block for 2 to put the other Super Soldier Serum in. And then I'm going to put in Mockingbird. He'll reduce her for coming in by 1, so I only have to spend 2 resources, and I'll spend Shield Toss and the Power of Justice to do that. No, I won't. The whole point of putting the Super Soldier Serum in is to use the other one. So that's 1, Shield Toss is 2. All right, and when she comes into the game, she'll stun Rhino. And then I'm going to flip back to Captain America. And I'm going to use Concussive Blow, using Power of Justice and Shield Block to do that. That gives me 3. And because I used the Power of Justice as a wild, I'm going to choose that to be a physical resource. Deal 3 damage to him. Put it over here. And I confuse him. So he's stunned and confused. I didn't get to do any damage because of the Rhino suit. But actually, I can go ahead and use Captain America to hit for 2 to get rid of the Rhino suit so that next time I can damage him. And I'll just have Mockingbird thwart for 1 to take care of the... No. I'll have her hit him for 2. Or for 1. So he's down to 2. Because he still has to have 10 threat to get that scheme off. So we'll ready everything back up. Draw 5. Okay. Threat on the main scheme. He's stunned, so he doesn't get to attack. The encounter card is Enhanced Ivory Horn. So when he does get to attack, it's going to be for +7 at least. And I got rid of both of my shield blocks. So, but that's okay because I have Lockjaw here that I can put into play. Take 4 of that damage if I really wanted him to. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to have Captain America attack for 2. Go ahead and move him to his side 3. So and he does keep the attachments and the confused. But when he comes into side 3, he gets tough. And I'm stunned. I also need to put him back to 16 health. Okay? So, We'll have Mockingbird hit for 1 to knock the tough off. Let me dig it out here. And then I'm going to discard for Justice to ready Captain America and attack so that he can knock the stun off. And then I'm going to play Heroic Strike and spend Genius and Lockjaw to be able to do that. And I know I have the Super Soldier Serum, but you can bring Lockjaw in from the discard pile. I think that's the best way to use him. So that's what I'm going to do. So I spent 3. I get to hit for 6, dropping him down to 10, from 16 to 10. And because I used a physical resource, I stun him. And I'll just hold on to Fearless Determination. So we'll ready and draw back up to 5. Almost about to run out of my deck. I've got 1 card left. But he's got 10 health, so maybe I can win before things get too bad. I think I'm doing okay. All right, this goes up to 3. He's stunned, so he doesn't get to attack. And this goes in the discard pile. And the encounter card, Master Plan. So I got to discard until I get a scheme. That's actually good because, in a way, it depends on what the scheme is. Well, that's not good. Legions of Hydra will come in. We're going to search the deck for Madam Hydra. I was thinking to myself that I hadn't seen any Legions of Hydra cards, and that was good, but now we've seen one. So that's going to bring her into play. All right, we'll put her engaged with Captain America. And the deck has been reshuffled. She comes in with 6 health. And then once you bring her in, you have to place 2 additional threat here for each Hydra enemy in play, which obviously she is. So there's going to be 5 threat on that scheme. And that's the encounter phase. So again, if I don't do anything about that, I'll have to have 2 encounter cards, and he's going to hit for at least 7 to somebody. So he's got 10 health left. Maybe I can win right here. I'll know. We'll see. All right, my turn. I'm going to put Fearless Determination in, which will give him +1 thwart, and I draw a card. Okay, Shield Toss. And because of that, I'm going to have to deal myself an encounter card and shuffle back up. All right, that's been reshuffled. Okay, we'll go ahead and thwart with Captain America for 3. Bring in on this scheme, bring it down from 5 to 2. And then we're going to discard Daredevil to ready Captain America, and we'll use him for something a little bit later, I think. I'm going to put Followed on the side scheme with his helmet. And then we're going to attack for 2 on Rhino, and he doesn't have, I got a lot of cards out. She doesn't have guard, he doesn't have a suit or anything, so I can't do that. Bring it from 10 to 8. And then I'm going to flip to Steve Rogers, and that'll reduce putting Jessica Jones in by 1, so I only need 2 resources. I'll use my 2 Super Soldier Serums to do that. So that's a total of 3. She'll come in with 3 health. And then I'm going to have her, and her ability is, if there's you get +1 thwart for each side scheme in play, so she has 2 thwart right now. And I'm going to use that 2 thwart to get rid of this side scheme, and when I do, it deals 4 damage to him, so dropping him down to 4. Alright, so this will come back to me. And then I'll go back to him. And that'll drop Jessica Jones, by the way, down to 2. And I'm readying up, but I'm going to have Mockingbird hit for 1 before we go drop him down to 3. So she's out of the game. And I have a shield toss that I can't use on Steve Rogers' side, unfortunately. So this will come back to here. He'll ready, and I'll draw up to 6. Okay. Put 1 threat on the start of the villain phase. He should scheme, but he's confused because I'm an alter ego form, so he won't scheme. She will, so she's going to put 2 more, bringing it up to 6. And there isn't a Legion of Hydra side scheme to put 2 threat on, so I won't do that. So I deal myself a second encounter card, and I hope one of them is not advanced. All right, I'm tough, so he'll get a tough status card. Good, I can knock that off. And the other one is Assault, and so that will surge because I'm alter ego. And man out of time, that's fine. I'll just exhaust to knock that out of the game, to remove that out of the game, and so it's Steve Rogers' turn. Okay, I don't think I need to use Steve's apartment. I'll just go ahead and flip. I'll have Jessica Jones attack to knock off the tough. And then I'm going to use shield toss. And just for the fun of it, I'll discard 2 cards to knock her down, take 4 damage, down to 2. And drop him down to 0. And when you do the shield toss, you have to take Captain America's shield from play and put it in your hand. And so, that's the game. Captain America Justice defeats Rhino Expert, and he's good against Rhino. Captain America's just good against anybody, in my opinion. But that's the Expert mode, and as I said earlier, I'm going to be doing a game with Captain America Justice against Rhino Expert with the Legions of Hydra side scheme, but on Heroic Mode Level 1, because I want you to see how that works and compare it to this game. It may be a win as well, but it may be a little tougher. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I want to see the comparison as much as hopefully you do. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. I hope that you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please consider to like and subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you know of any future videos I put up, including the one where I do Captain America Justice against Heroic Mode Level 1 Rhino. And until then, I'll save you a seat at the table.